All right, so just got back from the gym. Uh, put in about 30 rounds of cardio, um, and then did arms today. Um, I went with it like I did the same mix, but I went ahead and put it all together in one cup. The two scoops of craze, the one scoop of the amp ripped, um, and that kind of killed off the taste of the grape craze, and it wasn't too bad. And it got it all down in one thing, and it was good to go. I would definitely highly recommend that. Um, I got a call today um, from a woman. That just looking for some help in her own training and getting her stuff done. And so I'm gonna, I gave her some pointers. I'm gonna help her out with that. Anybody else out there, if you need any help, let me know. I haven't really thought about personal training, but I mean, one or two people, if y'all want to get with me, I could probably definitely do that. Make some time uh, and see if I could do anything to help you out. Um, I'm feeling awesome, man. I really am. Like, it's amazing. Start with these mitts and hopefully some sparring next week, and things are going in a real good direction. Got a call today from one of my trainers with a possibility of a fight with James Tony. Um, but talking with my manager, I think that the money just doesn't work itself out from his aspect. And I agree with him. You got to back the people that are backing you, and so I don't think that's going to happen. But it was cool that the call came, and that fighting in one of my idols was an option. I mean, I never thought that call would come for me and James Tony. So um, I definitely think it would have been an exciting fight with similar styles. Let's see what else. The challenge that I got going on, with the prize money at the end of Labor Day weekend. Please get your stuff in today. Sign up. If we don't get at least 10 people, I'm just not gonna run it until later on. Um, just do what you got to do to help yourself out, um, and let's just do it together. You know what I'm saying. I just think it'll be fun, and I think it'll help to give back to everybody that needs a little helping hand sometimes to get by with their conditioning and training. Um, on my next cast, I'm going to be talking. We're going to take it division by division, talking about the fighters here in Colorado, and then I think we're going to go ahead and go national with that too. But we're definitely going to start here in Colorado and start talking about just the fighters that are in the state, because I think that as far as the country goes, a lot of people don't know Colorado got a lot to offer. I'm from Arizona, but I give love and respect to Colorado, and they have a lot of quality fighters here that deserve to get some pub and uh, and get out there any avenue possible. And there's some good trainers here too. Let's see. I'm just gonna briefly touch bases. I think we left off where I was when I was about 3 or 4, going through the abuse coming up, just getting the gloves on with my dad and them a little bit later. Um, you know, you got to understand the context of where I come from. Back home, growing up, like my dad was that dude. You couldn't go nowhere and say his name, and people didn't know who you were talking about. I remember one story in particular. Well, not one story, but one time in particular in the projects where I grew up. And I know people here in Colorado are gonna be like, they're gonna think of the projects like over by Curtis Park. That's not projects. Where I grew up, one way in, one way out, cement floors, one level, period. Unless you lived in the higher buildings, like 3, 4 stories, still one way in, concrete, everything. It's basically just a prison cell that was a lot bigger, and then your family just lived in there. I mean, the neighborhood was so bad that, like, Dunbar Elementary, the city came in, put an iron fence all the way around the projects, and then attached it to one side of the elementary school, and then did the same thing from the other side. So you only had one way to get in to the projects, and then into the elementary school. It was the craziest thing I ever seen. But you know, that's where I grew up. And there was this guy, grown man. He was saying something to me, and I was like, "I'm gonna get my dad." And he was like, "Go get your punk ass daddy." And I was like, "All right." And then somebody must have told him who my dad was, because when I went got my pops, came back around the corner, he was like, "Oh, Big Ro," you know what I'm saying? I didn't know them was your boys, you know what I'm saying? And I watched a grown man bow down to my dad, and that's when I really started understanding who he was, you know what I'm saying? The things he did, and he was a hustler and he was a pimp, you know what I'm saying? That Papa Was a Rolling Stone song, that definitely that's my dad and my uncle Preacher and them, and that's what I was raised watching and seeing and understanding. So, I mean, one of the women that lived with us with my dad was one of his main workers. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, she loved us. She treated us like a son. Me and my brother treated us like sons, and she was cool. Um, and I used to roll my dad up and down Van Buren while he dealt with his women. You know, I never really understood it because I never saw my dad put hands on any of the girls that worked for him. And then to hear stories of him putting hands on my mom just kind of really, that bothers me, you know what I'm saying, and all that. But like I say, being raised under those circumstances, me and my brother used to get into fights with each other a lot. He had his crew, I had my crew, and we was out there wilding out. There wasn't really any supervision. I mean, we've gone hours at a time at night, So I remember one time we got suspended from school for fighting each other, and my dad had said if we got in trouble for fighting each other again, that he was gonna whoop us. My dad don't spank us. So during that week of suspension, I think I was like 9, my brother was like 8, something like that. That was the first time we had robbed somebody's home. You know what I'm saying? It was like 5 of us, took our crew, went in, robbed this crib. Um, of everything. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand this. Like sometimes when I look at my little brother now, my baby brother's 12, and when I look at him, I'm like, damn, or my little nieces, by my brother Rob. You know what I'm saying? When I look at Ginger and them, I'm like they ain't that old. You know what I'm saying? But I was a little bit older than them, and we inside of somebody's crib because that's the only way. I didn't know anything else. You know what I'm saying? We robbing Kmart. The shipment come in every morning, like 5 in the morning. They just drop it off behind Kmart. You know what I'm saying? So me and my crew get together. My pops already at work. My mom lived here in Colorado at the time. So we robbing the shipments at Kmart. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how we getting down. Like it's it. I remember, we doing, God, man. We was running we was running a little criminal empire, and we barely nine. You know what I'm saying? And that was just the way it was to survive. You feel me? I remember my pops and them selling. My pops and my uncle Preacher, my pop's best friend, selling VCRs that were filled with cut up cinder blocks. You know what I'm saying? So that the box would be sealed. And then they would show the real VCR, and then they sold hundreds of them things to people filled with cinder blocks, and stuff, and we was bouncing, at the time, like my dad was making money and there was whatever, but he was on the hustle all the time. So there's good days, there's bad days. We living in, there was times we was living in the car for weeks at a time, you know what I'm saying? Or going to this hotel, living there for a couple of days, going to another hotel. I remember me and my brother was hungry. Pops didn't have no money, and he went out and did some things. Came back, boxes of cereal, $100 bills. I think one of my aunts still got pictures of that night. You know what I'm saying? And my dad do. And it's like that's how life was for us at that age. You know what I'm saying? We flossing with pictures of money and happy to get a couple boxes of cereal to have something to eat and know that my dad, when he had the money, fed us well, and he would never let anything harm us. He made sure that we understood that as long as we were together, that we could get through anything, you know. And I think that me and my brother Anthony, that's right below me, we've kind of fallen from that. You know what I'm saying? With him being gone, we don't talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? I love my brother. I got a brother named Brandon. I love that nigga too. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like, as you'll see more in this story, I didn't mess with him for a long time because of things that I heard that happened that got our dad sent back to prison for 18 years. Um, that involved his mom, and so I didn't talk to my brother. You know, and but I think that with him being gone, we kind of lost that. And then us coming to Colorado, we kind of lost knowing that as long as you with your family, you can get through anything. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say that family's not always good. Sometimes family will take you down. But when family really wants to be there for you, and sometimes family can be friends that are family. And if you have that in your life, you'll know what I mean. Like my brother Anthony, me and him, we ain't been talking a lot. I'm sure he's going through what he's going through. I go through what I go through, and it's a shame because I love that dude. But we have a brother named Ben that's not our blood, but he grew up with us, and I know that my brother's gonna be okay because he has him like a brother. And I have guys in my life that are like brothers. And you just gotta hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you have that base in order to make it to the next spot, man. But yeah, so like that's what life was like for me. You know what I'm saying? Fighting, robbing, and just going full throttle. I never had a childhood, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been an adult, it seemed like my whole damn life. You know, having to take care of myself or living under circumstances that make you mature and grow up extremely fast. You know what I'm saying? And then sports just really helped that. You know what I'm saying? Like sports have given me and my brothers an opportunity to be more than what was laid out in front of us. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand where I'm coming from. Doesn't my mother didn't graduate high school. My father didn't. I didn't find out till a couple years ago that my father couldn't read and write. You know what I'm saying? Because he just hustled. He never went to school. You know, letters that I would get from him my whole life growing up from prison. I found out the reason they was different all the time was because those letters came from different people that he just told and they wrote. Or if we wrote him, they had to read it to him. And I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? It gave me a new respect for my father because he tried in a time when he didn't have any way of trying. And I don't know what I would have done under those circumstances, except for probably the same thing. I'm a strong believer and I'm going to take care of mine no matter what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just that now I also understand that no matter what I have to do can mean doing a job that I don't want to have to do. It doesn't necessarily mean I got to go into the streets and do stuff that I don't necessarily want to take care of my family. And boxing, I think my love for it and the way that we going now is because I feel that same way about boxing. It's my heart, it's my love, it's my family. And I will do anything to be successful at it. And so it doesn't matter what hard work or what pain or what any of it, we're going to be successful. So that's a little bit more about my life. We'll talk more about that as we go over however long. But yeah, man, y'all keep up with the training out there. To my h.o.p family, I got a lot of love for y'all. To all you fighters out there, men, women, whoever, keep it up. You know what I'm saying? I think people sleep on the fact that this is where athletics started, was in the arena. All the way back in tribes and everything else, it was always about combat. And I think that in the future we're gonna find out beyond basketball and football and all that that it's gonna stay about combat. So keep doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? And remember that we're role models. You know what I'm saying? We may not want to be, but we are. Um, and so carry yourself in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Um, but until next time, and don't forget if you want to do some personal training or whatever, just hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I'm easy to talk to. So till next time.